Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the second game of the final round in the Six Nations. This one, it is Wales versus France. Now, for France, they still have a chance of winning the Six Nations. They currently sit second on the table, but they've got quite a task here because they do have to beat this Welsh side with the bonus point and then also start to extend that points differential. Now, Scotland, they're actually sitting on 15 points now, but their points differential still keeps them in third. So they are heavily reliant on the Irish beating the English to be in that top three. Whereas France, like I mentioned, points differential just a little bit off what the Irish have been able to do so far. The fact that Ireland weren't able to get that bonus point up against the Scottish means that there is still a little bit of a hope for back-to-back Six Nations championships going the way of the French, but we are only moments away from kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have all been doing well. Hope you're excited for this game, and also England versus Ireland will be taking place in the near future. Now it is going to be Dan Biggar getting ready to kick this one off for the Welsh. Now, he is a very handy player to have back for Wales. He was missing last week. A bit of an interesting change here, which does involve Lewis Rees-Zammit coming in at fullback for this game. Josh Adams, Rio Dyer out on the wings, and of course, the strong loose forward trio of Aaron Wainwright, Justin Chipperick, and Talupe Falatau. Then you look at this French side, they are stacked from start to finish. They will certainly be trying to use every bit of that skill in this contest. But we are now underway, ladies and gentlemen. It's kicked off by Dan Biggar, nicely taken by France. Inside of the 22, Dupont goes across to Ramos, who's first receiver. Gregory Aldrit now. Let's get the carry back into the pocket. And Ramos will look for the touchline. She has not been able to find, so instead it's nicely taken by Lewis Rees-Zammit. Now get to test some of that speed. I mentioned playing at fullback. They have got Rio Dyer and Adams out on those wings, so plenty of pace in the back three for Wales in this match, and I think they're going to need it, not just on attack, but also on defence, trying to catch up with this French side when they get the line breaks. Nice run from Talupe Falatau, almost turned over. In fact, the penalty will go the way of the Welsh, and they might consider taking on the 3 points here. I got the last one right. Bonus point for Scotland, and great Nigel Owens. It's predicted in all seriousness that Wales will beat France. Stick my neck out and go with Wales by 5. Tell you what, you're not the only person thinking that Wales might be able to win this game. A lot of people feel that this is the game that Wales need to win, and that may be just why they do. Because sitting second on the Six Nations table at the moment, they'll be disappointed, sitting fifth, I should say. But the thing is, if Wales somehow win this game, theoretically, they get themselves 4 points in the process as well. That moves them up to 10 points. If England lose to lose to Ireland by, let's say, 20 points or so, there's a chance that England may finish lower on the Six Nations table than the Welsh. But of course, that is heavily reliant on 4 Welsh tries and a victory over France in France. That is the tricky part. But they are currently 5 meters out, starting to roll forward here. That looked like the ball went down there in the middle. Bounced out the back for Wyn Jones. He is over the line. He looks pretty flat there. He snuck over. There's a pile of bodies. Okay, they're going to say it was held up goal line dropout. This is France all the way. And then there's also that equation, which is France win this game with a bonus point, get their points differential up, and then put all the pressure on Ireland to not lose. Because if Ireland lose by 8 or more, then France would have the Six Nations. Don't forget, last year, France only beat Wales by 3 points or 1 try? Says Gareth there. Yeah, there's the close games occasionally. And let's be honest, France, they haven't quite been playing as well as they did last year in the Six Nations. It sounds harsh, but it is correct. Last year, they had a very good run, scoring tries for fun. They're still doing that this year, but they have conceded a lot more compared to what they had last year. But they had a great game last week up against the English, the highest ever total scored against an English side in a Six Nations competition. Lewis Rees-Zammit goes to Adam Baird now, tackled by Cyril Bailly. Trying to get over the ball was Julio Marchand. Doesn't quite get it though. Lewis Rees-Zammit with a nice step. Galfiku able to drag him down 25 meters out from the line at the moment. Dan Biggar just does enough to get rid of Dumite. Dumitier. I always have to hear his name once and then I'm fine, but until then I always say it terribly. Now, nice run from Wainwright. Stepping round Reese Webb with the snipe. Round the side again with the pick and goes. Wales currently looking like they want to play this one with a frantic place. To look by Falatau around the side again. And French warmed up now. French players play way more games than other countries. Says Gareth, I still need a break before internationals. Now another advantage goes the way of Wales. Reese Webb looks to the short side. He might actually consider going there. Nice offload up to Lewis Rees-Zammit. Finds the offload. It's gone forward, but they'll go back for the penalty again. And Hamish, mate, I reckon Lewis Rees-Zammit will get 2 tries. The guy has so much pace. Eddie Jones tried to entice him. A fair play to him at this level. Got to play where your heart is, says Kev Shaw. And that's the thing, playing at fullback today means that if there is that line break opportunity, he may be right up the front line, but then France will know that. So that's when their counter-attack could come into play. Or maybe that kicking behind. It's going to be a bit of a chess match. I'm excited. I feel like both of these sides have a lot to play for in this game. That's exactly how we want it to be. It's going to be now Ken Owens. 5-metre line out here for Wales again. So still applying that early pressure to this French side. Now Adam Baird, nice little offload across. Now the rolling maul will commence. France trying the absolute best to be able to hold this one up and stop it from marching forward. Wales methodically getting it to the back of that rolling maul, and it's available now, but Ken Owens hangs onto it for just a little bit longer. Looks like Reese Webb wants it. I don't think Owens has given it up, though. And the question is that the right decision? They're getting close. Adam Baird manages to get it out the back. I think that was the smarter decision there for Wales. It seemed like France had a lot of long arms in there that could have caused possible turnover. Now Adam Baird going to be playing halfback. Offloads up to Talupe Falatau. Wales at the moment, they've had about 90% possession here the first 5 minutes of the contest. Now around the side again, Aaron Wainwright. Getting closer, 2 metres short. Alan Wynne-Jones lying on his back. Hopefully he is all right. Yep, he is. Got to play in the next British and Irish Lions tour, that man. Made of, I don't know what he's made of. He's made of some very strong granite of some sort. He just keeps on getting up and going. Alan Wynne-Jones. Now around the side again, Adam Baird just short of the line. France need to make sure they don't end up giving away the offside advantage. Nick Tompkins smashed hard. Damn bigger. Does he have the crack himself? It's now going to be the advantage. So exactly what I said that France didn't want to do, they have just done. Now Reese Webb with the cross kick attempt. Josh Adams slaps it back on the inside. Rees-Zammit tied up low. Counter ruck from the French as well. And we'll go back for the penalty. Everyone get your snacks as the game. It's certainly going to be a good game. And while Alan Wynne-Jones on ball big time. To be fair to him, like the man is getting up there in terms of rugby age. So it's probably understandable. Tell you what, he's lost a hair for every tackle he's made and every line out he's won. And he's probably lucky to still have hair if that was the case, because the man has been around since day one for Wales. Well, not quite day one, but it seems that way. I think he's been a professional rugby player for almost as long as I've been alive. And Wales just need to stay consistent, stay in it. We will fumble, says, or will we fumble, says Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, that's the thing. As long as they keep it close, it's anyone's game. Nicely taken by Alan Wynne-Jones. That's another hair out of his head. Be gentle, Ireland, says Tyler there. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how England go, firing back from their massive defeat to the French. Nice rolling ball. Ken Owens, half a metre short. That was cynical from the French, and that may end up, it's going to be a try anyway for George North. And he scores the first try of the match for Wales, away from home. The crowd are in silence, and I think there might even be a yellow card coming as well here for one of the French players, or at least a final warning. One of the props is actually coming over for Wales to ask for the yellow card. It might have been Thomas Francis, but great work. Ken Owens just short of the line, but then this great pass across Reese Webb. It was about the fourth receiver, and it went straight into the hands. And hi, I'm back. What happened with the other games? Have not checked yet. So the other Six Nations fixture, we did see Scotland win against Italy 26 points to 14. The game was a lot closer than that, though. And it was only really that last-minute try that kept Scotland with a slightly bigger lead. A very Alan Wynne-Jones tackle. New lamb is born in Wales, says Grant. He's been around a while, Alan Jones, been busy. And the thing is, I slightly joked about the next British and Irish Lions tour, but if that man's match fit, he's probably going to be there in some sort of role, whether that is as a player or whether that's as some sort of support coach. Don't know where he'll go next, Alan Jones. Going to be kicked off now by Roman Intermac, but currently 7-0 in favour of the Welsh. That has certainly fired up the Welsh supporters in attendance. Well, if it stays like this, my prediction will be right. Well done, Wales, says Brian. Although we've seen games earlier on in the day who scored, it was in the end George North managed to get himself that try. Number 13 for this match. Tie by Reese Webb. That was close to Thomas Ramos putting his foot into touch. Now held up. I believe that is Justin Tipperick. They have called for a tackle, so they do have to release him. Now Dupont goes off to the left. Galficu, short ball there, nicely done to Flamand. Dupont again, cross to Galficu. Now Jonathan Dante, bit of space there. Tackled a bit high by George North, kind of around there or so. And in the US on CNBC. And the game is even broadcast in Spain on Movie Star, says Gareth there. And iScore just threw in don't know if I can read that one, Fluffy. It's going to be on the halfway line. Now Dupont with the advantage in favour of the French as well. Cyril Bailly hits it up, tackled by Thomas Francis. Those two will go head-to-head in the scrums when they do take place. Oh, great run from Intermac. He's got Dupont with him. Can he find him? Instead goes himself. Now finds the offload to Antoine Dupont. Wide cutout pass. Was it forward? It certainly was not. And Damien Pinot scores for France. That is how quickly they can get you when you're down. One little mistake from Wales. Try for France. And Kiwi, can we see you snacks? Says the game, I haven't actually got any snacks at the moment. This is the only snack that I've got, and it's a bit of a sad snack because it's just water. It does look green. That's just because I've got a green screen behind, so don't panic too much. I'm not drinking some sort of slime. But Dupont, great pass out wide to Damien Pinot. I watched the Blues Crusaders highlights. I'm still a block, but good game. Says the roll off there. Yeah, back and forth one. Did you see the highlights of Moana Pacifica Brumbies? Those two sides were sitting about 34 all. And then the Brumbies ran away with it at the end, but they were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Great pass from Dupont out to Pinot. He's a try-scoring machine, but when you get to run them in like that, you'd say, yeah, that was all right, but next time I'm going to run over a defender or run round one. A tough kick here for Thomas Ramos for his first of the night or the afternoon, as the game has taken place in France. Night time for us anyway, almost 4 a.m. here in New Zealand. 44-metre kick for Thomas Ramos. He would have been banging these over in training and practice before the match. Now that one's looking pretty good. And it's gone over. Brilliant kick there. Why is no one marking Pinot? Yeah, that seems like a risky play, doesn't it? But I think it was Intermac's run. He lured in 3 of the defenders, then managed to find that offload, and then Dupont just fired a beautiful ball out wide. I say beautiful a lot, but that is the kind of rugby that France normally play. Ireland or England, I think Ireland should take it, but England, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a little bit more fight in them than we've seen in a couple of their previous Six Nations fixtures. Can't let France get a breakaway play exactly right. As soon as you leave a gap, they see it. Unfortunately, Dupont's vision's too good to leave gaps out wide. And no point in marking Pinot, says Gareth. And surely Pinot has scored more international tries in 2020 of any team. I think he's got to be right up there anyway. Because I can't even remember. He scored heaps in the July internationals. He scored heaps in the November internationals. Six Nations last year, he was scoring plenty. He gets a few. Probably scored more tries in the last little while than there are players out there on the field for France at this point. And that's not including any other French tries that we're seeing, whether that is the likes of Aurélien Marchand, maybe Galficu out on the other wing. Was Dumitier doing nicely there. Ball in the hands of the Welsh, though. 14 metres out, Thomas Francis hits it hard at the line. Tackled by Charles Olivon and Yui Antonio. Wyn Jones having his cut, or his pass cut off there. Alpha Fanua makes the tackle. Now Reese Webb. I feel like I'm too excited for this game and I'm starting to stumble on my words. And heaps counts. And also we have got the A, mate. To be honest, I haven't gone to bed yet. I don't really feel tired, which isn't a good sign, says Amelia. That means more than likely you'll be very tired later on in the day. Maybe for the Reds, Fiji, and Drua game. I would definitely recommend, however you do it, make sure you get some sleep before tomorrow or tonight, Australian time. Be sure to try and get, even if it's like 4 hours or 3 hours squeezed in there somewhere, it'll certainly make you feel a little bit better. Guy from Dupont inside of his 22. Does get that one into touch. About 32 metres out now. Will be a Welsh line out. Also, he's a dangerous player. Must keep an eye on him, says Blues Nate. Apparently, we're seeing 12 carries from France, 33 from Wales. The difference, though, the fact that France have still been able to turn one of theirs into a try. Now, Dan Bigger goes out wide to Rio Dyer, trying to pierce through. He's gone through Fiku, but hasn't gone through Dante, who's a slightly bigger obstacle to try and get over. Now, Shaw trying to go for the turnover and the breakdown. Doesn't quite get it now. On the short side to Lupe Faletau. Beautiful inside ball to Lewis Rees-Zammit. Decides to hang on to it that time. And almost, very close to being turned over in that breakdown. Thomas Francis, though, ends up with it for Wales. Now, short ball, Yui Antonio, he's knocked that one on. I think they have called it as just a knock on rather than anything more serious. Now, kicked him behind by Lewis Rees-Zammit, taking a deflection. Ball doesn't quite sit up for him. I believe that should have been going back for the advantage, but I believe if they've called it a knock on, it's just going to be play on now. Note we go back now for it. Double blow the whistle. This might be something a bit more serious. Gareth. It was like France won't kick us. I might get a full bonus point. And to be fair, I mainly intend on streaming Rebels away days whenever the Wallabies play. And also, we have got that. Will they be disappointed? I haven't heard anything about that. Right, Yui Antonio. He got one hand out to it now. You'd have to say he was flicking it back towards himself. I'd be disappointed if he gets a yellow card for this, but they may end up giving him one. As an England fan, I'm looking like France may, or it's looking like France may have only one big game in them, like England in the last World Cup. We will see early days, says Kev. Okay, they've said it's not a deliberate knock forward. Okay. They've said that it is going to be a scrum. A genuine attempt for Yui Antonio. He did end up slapping it back onto his head. Knock on from Blue, 15 minutes in at the moment, and it is 7-all between the two sides. Another try here for Wales would certainly help them in this first half. In front of a Stade de France crowd, you want to make sure you're ahead early because or else then as soon as that crowd momentum kicks in, France are just going to go try after try after try. Now, 20 metres out at the moment from the French line. It is going to be a superior weight advantage to the French. They have got an extra 50 kgs over the Welsh. Reese Webb now feeds the ball in. Going to be spinning away a little bit. It's gone down on the front row. They will have to have a reset. And morning, good sir, says Kurt. Welcome in and knock forward onto the head. And Nick Cool Ref says Gareth there in territory, mate. Like I mentioned, 20 metres out from the French line. And Wales are the team to draw on a card or draw a card from the other. They do get under the skin. This is Mr. Fantastic AJ. So some players already taking some deep breaths out there on the park. It hasn't been a slow start to this matchup. It's been all-out pace. Not actually a huge amount of kicking back and forth. And I think that may be because they've got Lewis Rees-Zammit at the back rather than Liam Williams. They've decided instead maybe Lewis Rees-Zammit, that running option for Wales. Webb now. Feeding the ball in again. France will win. Says Beversta. That is the penalty to the French at the scrum time. Doing very well there. Do you have a prediction of the score, Beversta? You think they'll win by a lot or you think they'll win by a little bit? Because they do need to win with a bonus point and also a points differential of about plus 25 to have a real chance. In fact, no, probably a points differential of about plus 15 to be able to win the Six Nations. Wales might be in the game for the first half, but France will explode in the second half, says Danston. And that is why Wales need to take the most of every opportunity that they do get. But now kicked into touch by Intermac. Goes out just inside of the French half. Close, but you never know. Says B Versta. So the way that the table sits currently, are you giving them the bonus point though? Sit here currently. They are in second. Scotland are sitting on 15, but they are still behind in the points differential. So theoretically, if France get this game won with a bonus point, they'll be on 20. They'll be ahead of Ireland. And then if Ireland lose by 8, France win the Six Nations. France by 20, says Danston there. I love a good right. Says Fluffy, but now Wales have taken that ball back 40 metres out from their own line after a bit of a mistake from France. Adam Beard out to Alan Winch. Oh, that's a tip tackle onto his head, or at least his shoulder. What are we going to end up with? This is going to be probably a yellow card for Galfiku there. I don't know why he decided to do it. He might have injured Alan Wynne-Jones in the process as well. Looks like his shoulder. Not looking too flash. Going back for the penalty. Wynne-Jones taking a couple deep breaths. They're going to have another look at this one. Wales lost to England. England got beaten 53-1. As I think Wales has it coming. Says B. Verstappen. Wales cannot be wasting scrum opportunities like that. They have a chance. And Reece Webb making huge difference to the Welsh game, says Gareth. And thoughts on Roygaard? Quite enjoying his performance. He's a good young player. Cam Roygaard. Yeah, see, that's a tip tackle. Oh, okay. Luckily, Alan Wynne-Jones hasn't landed on his head, but the intent of tipping him up is there. Unfortunately, as soon as you lift a leg above the horizontal, you take that risk of getting a yellow card. Possible red, says Kev. I think if he landed on his head, would have been more likely a red, but I think that is just going to be a lift. He's got it wrong. Sounds like it might just be a penalty. Just a penalty, says Nick Berry, and the referees agree. Little bit lucky, but it's one of those ones that could have easily gone either way. This is getting scary between the New Zealand Super Rugby teams and the Six Nations. The Box might have a challenge, says Roloff, and who is in possession of the ball. So it was Wales' ball, then tip tackle on the Welsh player, and now it's going to be a Welsh penalty 40 metres out from their own line. Come on, the Wales difference between lifting above the horizontal and playing or player flicking up his leg is what? Says Gareth. So it's all in the way that his hips motion. So if you look closely at the way that Galfiku was lifting, you can see that there is that kind of hip rotation as if to go like this rather than just kind of going like that, if that makes sense. You can see it when you look at it closely, but that's why it became only low degree of danger, because he didn't drive him into the turf rather than actually, I guess, driving him. Like he kind of put him down softly after flexing and twisting. Now, Wales going to end up with this ball again, still playing against a 15-man France, sitting 30 metres out from the French line. They're trying to hold a French player and it's not going to work. Nick Berry's not having any of it. And that could have been a yellow on another day. Exactly. It could have easily gone either way. Well, that one now, nice offload to Chiperick. Didn't find his offload back to Thomas Francis, though. Now, Dan Bigger. A bit of a crack himself. He's going to have to take some big hits in this game if he's willing. Oh, risky offload from Alan Wynne-Jones. It's worked out to be a knock-on from the Welsh. France will now have this ball at the back. Where's the ref from? It is Nick Berry from Australia. This one. And all we have got there. Told you Wales are good at drawing cards, says Mr. Fantastic AJ. And a fancy Roygaard put it on a black jersey. Might be a little bit young yet, but give him a couple years, and I think he'll be right up there. Just because, yeah, I think he needs not a lot more training, but just a bit more experience. Get it under the belt. He's got a bright future, though, Cam Roygaard. I'm going to Bry if Wales win this one, says Roloff. But there is a bit of an injury here to Gregory Alvret. Might have been something around that eye. He's kind of got it like that. So I think he's either received a poke. Oh, he didn't like that. Something down there, maybe bruised. Come on, Wales. There's Gianpaolo. Nozar, Nick Berry. Nick popped his cherry. Is the ref. Says Gareth. No, he's Koala, mate. Yeah, it looks like he's looking a bit rough under the eye. Gregory Alvret. And also, who else is excited to see Arundel to start for England, says Kev Shaw. Tell you what, England have gone with a few big changes. I think, did I hear Tuolangi's in the starting lineup as well? I really hope he doesn't get injured within 5 seconds, because that's what normally happens. I remember last time he scored a try and then he injured himself in the process of scoring the try, so he had to go off. That was real early up against either Samoa or Japan or someone like that, I think it was. Need to put on some more beef first, says Fluffy. And also, you're not brawling. In that case, says Bivesta. Now, ball fed in by Dupont, 15 out from their line. That one's gone down in the front rows, but they will still be able to use it. Dupont goes across the into Mac. And Bit Light agreed, but showing promise. Here's Kerr there, nicely taken by Lewis Rees-Zammit. Now looking to run this one back. Doesn't often kick Rees-Zammit. Being taken down low by Gregory Aldrit, who's a tackling machine for the French loose forwards, to look by Falatau. Inside ball to Adam Beard. That they do seem to be going for, but the hands on the ball for Taufa Whanua. And not releasing penalty. Although, Cyril Bai, did he roll away? Just trying to listen to what Nick Berry said. He has a natural look to his game. And offloads and more offloads. I want to see a replay of that breakdown. I'm not too sure what way that one would have gone. Offloads and more offloads. Nigel Owens reckons Wales could surprise France, says Seamus. They've got a chance. At the end of the day, we're waiting for a big Wales performance. So Cyril Bai made the tackle. Oh, he might have just rolled half an inch out of the way. Cyril Bai, penalty to France. It was indeed. Now they are 45 metres out from their own line there. Taufa Whanua, the man who won the penalty. French number 5. Aurier Marchand throws the ball in. Nicely taken by Charles Olivon. Now Taufa Whanua looks like he is going to consider playing half. Yes, he does. Goes for the run round the side as well. Now Dupont goes off to Jonathan Dante. Driven backwards by Dan Bigger and Wainwright. Dupont goes down to Mag. Drop ball from Galfiku. Kick downfield now, and it's going to be just outside of the 22. But France, in fact, has rolled back in, which is a little bit handy for them. Looking for the offload. Finds it to Dupont. A lot of pressure here. But he's managed to carve his way almost up to the 22-metre line. A counter-ruck from the Welsh. Also dresses up a beer. Nick losing his berry. Nice try incoming, says Danston. And also we have got their morning Amish. And just got up, says Spider Mix. I hope you are doing well, mate. And Dupont will be rolling this ball back. Currently 22 minutes through this match at the moment. Dupont. Some good distance on that one by the looks of it. And it does end up going into touch. About 43 metres out now. Line out for Wales. Wales will be hoping this game gives some positives. Our last outing before the Rugby World Cup, says Kerr. Yeah, although I was looking through their July internationals and whatnot, and they seem to have quite a few games up against the other Six Nations sides before the Rugby World Cup. I think I saw that they're playing a weird 3-match series, I think. I think they've got France. They also play Japan. I think they play South Africa as well before the World Cup gets underway. So I'm not sure how many warm-up games they're going to have, but I think they've still got a couple more, but they just haven't properly been announced yet. They're just kind of a bit of a confusing one. That's going to be kicked in behind from Dan Bigger. I believe Justin Tipperick was offside, so decides to pull out of that chase. Now Dante kicks it downfield. Bigger lets it bounce, and it goes into touch. And also, well, Hamish of Wales neck and neck with Frenchies. I got another 50 minutes to go at work. Go Wales, says Ruth. So you're almost through the day, only 50 to go. Doing well. What happened to Fiku? Just ended up dropping that ball, unfortunately, just straight through the hands. Now taking that one quickly there, Wales. Just making it go the 5 metres, kicking it down towards the French 22 again, taken inside by Ramos. Go for the kick back, and that's a brilliant kick. That is a fantastic kick, in fact. With hardly any angle to work with, managed to get it down to about 35 out from the Welsh line. Hard nipples, says Fluffy. Me or you? And so hot, says Gareth. Oh. Alan Wynne Jones going to get an HIA. Okay. He's going to be going off here. And Dragons need some fire to the try line. I'll go for the underdog here to win Wales by 10 plus, says Bottomic. And it's looking like France haven't turned up like last week. But it's the first half. If the scoreline is close, then I'm right. They've only got one big game in them. And they need that bonus point. That is one thing that they definitely need. They need a bonus point win, which involves scoring 3 more tries. So I believe we'll see them kicking for the corner quite a bit throughout this matchup, when they do manage to get the penalties, just like they just did. And that's going to be about 38 meters out. It's a kickable 3 if they want it, but they need bonus point. So I think they'll go for the corner. Or not. France obviously doesn't really know the scenario. They've decided that instead they are going to go for the posts. I mean, I understand getting the lead, but it's not going to get you your title back. They need they need 4 tries. How many games over how many hours for you, Hamish? There's Ruth. So we have got one more game after this one. That'll be taking place at 6 a.m. Then at I'd say I'll get to sleep at maybe about 11 or 10 a.m. Wake up at about maybe 5. Do the Fijian draw Reds game. And then I think I'm getting up early the next morning to pour concrete. So that'll be fun. And then I think we're pouring concrete the day after as well. So should be some sore muscles, which should be enjoyable. Ramos taking on the 3, like I mentioned. If he misses this is even a worse decision. He's got it over, though. He normally does convert. Well, Thomas Ramos, that will make the score now after 26 minutes. 10 points to 7. I'll be honest, that wasn't a very big cheer from the crowd. I think they know the scenario. France should know the scenario. I don't think that was the right call. And how many nations are we talking about? And who's on top says Bodomic. We talking 6 nations or in general? Bodomic. Because currently, as the table stands, I can show you what the 6 nations sits on, which is that. There we go. So that is what we've got currently, although Scotland actually now sitting on 15 points, but their points differential is worse than France. So they only gained another 12, so they've got a plus 20 points difference as we currently sit now. Dupont, once again, with a nice clearing kick. Lewis Rees-Zammit taking that one outside of the field of play. And also we have got the Are You Construction Worker, mate? Not quite. I'm a part-time builder who gets lured into doing a lot of concrete. But it's mainly I do YouTube full-time in terms of hours that I put into it. I do a bit of building part-time alongside it so that I can afford to keep the YouTube channel going. I guess, like, feed myself. Oh, that's a rough one. Back into the pocket. It's going to be taken back into the 22. And Lewis Rees-Zammit kicks it out on the full. That's going to be taken back. Big mistake there from Wales. Minimise injuries. Just see the game out. Says Kerr. I'd hate to see if that was the way that France play this. As I may not be a construction worker, but I make other says Gareth. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself a construction worker per se. I'm just only really a fill-in. Like I'm not qualified. I just kind of help out when I need to. And keep it up, mate. You're doing great. Says Danston. But it's good because luckily my dad is my boss, which I feel like I'm very lucky in that regard because I don't think any other boss would allow you to do live streams over a whole weekend and then sleep during the day sometimes on a Monday when you should be working. Very lucky. But yeah, it's like it's only really 1 or 2 days a week. And that's just do as much as I can in there. And how good was Dupont last week? He's impressive. He's already had a great pass in this game. Getting that wide cutout one to Damien Pinot. And now we have got a scrum feed for the French on the 22. I think they definitely want another try before the end of this first half here, France. They've got 12 minutes to do it, and they're in an ideal position on the field. And the penalty goes the way of France. Please don't take the 3 points. Please don't. Go for the corner. It's as if they don't realize what the scenario is. If England beat Ireland by 8 and France don't get 4 tries, they would be kicking themselves. And France might be happy just winning this and not giving away too much and keeping everyone good, ready for the World Cup. Although I'm sure they'd like a Six Nations trophy in the cabinet, wouldn't they? And that means he supports you in your dream. Make him proud, says Danston. Oh, he's been on a few live streams as well, my dad and my mum and George. Straight to Sports, Tony. We've had a lot of guests on recently. They're taking on the 3 points again. I don't understand it. I get that they want to win, but you've got a brilliant rolling maul if you're France. You've got 50 kgs advantage in your forward pack, and they're all sitting still out at the back going, this is easy. So Ireland top of the table, a team not to be reckoned with. That's my thought. AJ, they will know they can't win the title, so preservation is key at this point. And do you prefer a Northern Hemisphere team to win the World Cup compared to any Southern Hemisphere team to win? Of course, I'd like to see eventually this Northern Hemisphere win, just because then it keeps it a little bit closer. And I feel like that's always good for rugby to have both North and South prospering. Of course, it would come at the expense of the South. It's going to be kicked. Gonna yelled at it. So they're now 6 points ahead. Yay. Like I said, no sign of rain, blistering sunshine. I wouldn't object if Argentina won, though. It's true. I feel like Argentina are a side that certainly would take winning a World Cup and wear it with pride. Now, nice ball, damn bigger. If Wales score now, France are going to feel like a big bunch of geese, but they have now lost the ball again, Wales. Gave you nut chocolate. That's going to be kicked to behind from Roman Intermac into the 22, taken by Josh Adams. Now kicks it downfield, doesn't find touch with it. And Intermac goes back across now. Thomas Ramos looked like he was going to have a bit of a crack with a kick, but instead now going to be running it up to the halfway lines. Now Galfiku going off to the right-hand side. Big run forward from Serobai. Now the point goes to Roman Intermac. Damien Pinot. Nice step there twice. Offload to Yui Antonio. Knocks it backwards. Done well. He's had a couple fumbles so far throughout this match. Now it's kicked to mine from Intermac. Looking for the 50-22. Dan Bigger leaving that one. It's going to bounce inside of the in-goal area. Pull up short. So more than likely this will be a goal line dropout. Dan Bigger getting booed by the crowd. Just asking them why they're booing him. France trying to play the territory game. Update on the time. Currently, we are sitting 32 minutes through. Be the goal line dropout for the Welsh. You know me too well. No Corrup or Carup for me. And come on, Wales, hold the damn ball. Spider-Mac down to the halfway line now. Charles Olivon, this is what we like to see. Big attack and run from a big forward. Tackled actually by Reese Webb, one of the smallest players on the field for the Welsh. Now another good carry. That ball's gone backwards for Charles Olivon. And Dupont going to the left-hand side. Thomas Ramos goes to Serobai. Now Dupont going to the left. Ramos now to Intermac. Inside ball to Thomas Ramos. Offloaded to Dupont. What can he do with it? He decides to sell the dummy. He's going to be just short. And that ball somehow stays in the field of play, which means now Fiku's got a real crack. 1 meter out. Here come the French. Taufifanoa. Tackled well by Adam Beard. Ball's going to become available at some stage soon, I would think. Yep, there it is. Slightly out the side. Adam Beard trying to go for the counter-ruck. Doesn't quite get it. Dupont goes across to Intermac. Now Ramos. One more. Dante's wide open. And he's going to be one-on-one with Rio Dye, who wasn't able to stop him. Dante scores. This is better from the French. Go for the tries. You might as well. It's the last game. As Georgia in the World Cup. I know we invested lots of money into their ruggers last 2 years. Yep, they are in the World Cup. They are in the group with Wales, Fiji, Australia, and Portugal. And a link to the live match, please. Sadly, I do not have one. I'm watching on Sky Sport 1. If you are in Ireland, I believe you can watch this game for free on RTE Player, I believe someone said. If you do need a VPN, we have got a link there. We'll get you a nice discount using our promo code. But, yeah, it's tricky to find where to watch these games live, depending on what country you're in. But your best bet is to get a VPN, set yourself to Ireland, and then you'll be all good to go. I want to do a shout-out for my good friend, Ian, who lives in the Gold Coast, who's confused Englishman, who thinks he's a Kiwi. 10-pound pom, good mate, says Kev there. I'd love to see this French side throw caution to win and play some exhibition rugby. No doubt they will rack up points anyway. They just had some fun with it. And come on, France, says Verster. And in Ireland, it's on Virgin Media. In the UK, it's on SC4, STV, and ITV1. And Wales are making too many errors, says Brian, which is why France need to keep on attacking. France is just too good, mate. Says Dunstan. Well, I mean, they lost to Ireland, unfortunately, which if they hadn't, they might have been able to go for the Grand Slam. It's like they were able to do last year, but lost that game. Now they need to make sure they get the bonus point to at least put that pressure on Ireland and say, well, if you guys lose, we're right here. Thomas Ramos. Once again, nailing the kick. It did hit the left hand upright, but still managed to bounce over. And that will now make the score 20 points to 7 in favour of Les Bleus. It's just that wide ball out to Jonathan Dante. Rio Dyer, once again, they just left space on the outside. I think that is to do with the fact that France do have those big forwards. Don't want to leave the space next to the breakdown. That normally lures in your defence a little bit more. Now into Mac. Kicks it downfield. Does get it into touch as well. It's actually £5. And best bet is the Kiwi lads. It is easy, no VPN required. Or hours of searching, says Roloff. And Aaron Ireland is going to win, says Patricia. And earlier I said France by 20. Now I'm going to change it to France by 34 to be precise. Or is that 34 points for France? I assume that's by 34, isn't it? Taken by Wales. Our own line out, sitting 40 metres out now from the French line, and we can hear the French national anthem now being sung around the ground. So they certainly enjoyed that try more than the three-pointer when the French take it earlier on. Reece Webb going to be wheeling this ball back. Goes into the pocket to Dan Bigger. Wasn't the best pass. I'll tell you what, this is a good chase here. Nicely taken by Damien Penaud. Takes a quick tap. Keeps the ball alive. Oh, that's deliberately knocked down by George North. They've just called it as a knock-on. Okay, that's relatively lucky, you'd have to say, for George North. And France need 4 tries for the bonus point win. They certainly do. So only need another 2 more tries and I'll play the game with the misses. Save money and get some chocolate nuts, says Fluffy. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. I've said that he's had a decent crack at this ball, which you'd have to say, not a huge chance. Yes, he's tried to slap it back, but it's a lot more cynical than the one we saw earlier on from Uni Antonio. Oh, 19's off. I think that is for Alwyn Jones. Yep, he is back out on the field, the big man. And it's for Jenkins, who has had to make his way. And what was half-time score last week? Was that in the game up against England? Not sure. It was something along those lines of about 20-something points difference. And not had a chance to look at the Ireland lineup. They're fielding a full team, says Curse. So the side that they've gone with, I can tell you, they've got a couple gaps due to some injuries, but majority of their side are the stock standard strong Irish that you would expect to see. So they've got Sexton at 10. One moment. Tell you what, we're looking at a halftime. Now, think about it, we're only about 2 minutes away from the halftime break. Now it's going to be a line break once again for the French. That's going to be knocked on, though, from Damien Penaud, just a little bit too far behind him. And woeful Wales, France are going to show up at the Rugby World Cup, says Thorfinn. Also lucky there, Mr. Fluffy. Dupont once again just finding gaps in this Welsh defence and making the absolute most of it. But now Ken Owen's going to be throwing this ball in just inside of French territory. Berry just trying to rush them along a little bit for that line out. Not allowing them to take too much time. That's going to be nicely taken by Justin Tipperick. Now Dan Bigger. Going across the Falatau. Another knock-on from George North. It's just knock-on after knock-on. Mo Nice's prediction not looking as good, says Brian. Although, to be fair, he didn't predict that Wales were going to drop the ball every 5 seconds. Because that doesn't help. And also, if the Wales limit mistakes, they have a chance, says Spider-Meek. There's going to be another French one. My France team plays excellent rugby, says Totius. They certainly do. Only 2 tries away from that bonus point to still have a chance of taking out Six Nations glory for 2023. That's reliant on England to beat Ireland, though, a team that lost by the biggest margin they ever have in a Six Nations game, I believe. That was England, and also the highest points scored against them last week for the English, up against an Irish side that are in some pretty decent form. Greetings, Hamish. You must have had the Red Bull and an IV drip to keep going this early in the morning, says Mountains of Asylum. I had some water, and also I had a little bit of a Powerade Zero earlier on. I have no idea why I have so much energy, though, because I've been awake for, I want to say, maybe 19 hours. Yeah, I still feel like I've only been awake for like 3. I feel like I could go outside and go for a jog. I won't do that though, because that would be quite dumb. That's an inside ball. Although I did a lot of running in cricket today as well, which is why I have no idea why I'm still wide awake. If England win, I'm not going for Bry. You can get Red Bull support suppositories in France. True, says Fluffy. Wales not capable of playing how they're playing or how they're trying to play. Do you have power naps? No, not normally. Normally, my power naps on a weekend would consist of that's actually when I end up sleeping. Like I'll get like a 2 hour sleep, and that's my sleep for the night during the weekend. But I'll end up getting about 5 hours later on today when the World Cup comes around. Are you and Two Cents going to do some commentary? More than likely, we'll have some more collaborations coming. We've done one video or one live stream together at the moment, me and Two Cents, and also Tony from Distracted Sports. Have them on as a post-match review option, but we'll try and get something going, I'd say, when we do get a little bit closer. I'm confused, too many Gareths lining up. What's going on here? Cheers, Blues Nate. That'll be halftime, ladies and gentlemen. All put into touch. 20 points to 7. France is just too good, says B. Versta. I do still need those 2 tries, though. That is the main thing. I take Ritalin for all this stuff. And Wales are doing really well today. I don't think the score reflects it. Says Mountains of Asylum. Yeah, looking through at that English lineup, for those who were curious about it, or sorry, the Irish lineup, the side that they've gone with, it's Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, and Ty Furlong, so very strong front row. Ryan Beard, James Ryan, the locks. Peter O'Mahony, Josh Van den Flower, Caelan Doris, loose forward trio, Gibson Park, Johnny Sexton, James Lowe, Bundy Aki, Robbie Henshaw, Matt Hansen, Hugo Keenan. So they've gone with a lot of strong players, and their side's going to make multiple lose Nate accounts. If you really have to, Nate. Although normally we do keep up with the one, don't we? Wait, is that so you can time yourself out, or just there's a different one? Yeah. Do a line of Garrus, you won't regret it. Also, I get some or key brother or stiff drink. Oh, I'm still wide awake though. Like I'm all good. I think the last yawn that I had was about 3 hours ago. Now I'm just in that. It's weird because I get into a patch of just commentary, and then my brain just goes, right, you're busy. So don't even think about anything to do with sleeping. Wales have got the worst, or have got worse. Coming the old Wales of pre 2005. We got good players. We just need to find a way to play where we don't screw up so often. New blood time. And the logic for France at 7-all was to take the points again and again, keep building a lead until the lead stretches out. Games beyond Wales, then turn up the heat, start scoring tries. Hope it works for them, because I'm sure if they only scored 3 tries in this game, they'd heavily regret that decision. But yeah, I thought the first conversion or the first penalty, I was like, okay, they'll take one, but then they took that extra one as well, and I was thinking, oh, you don't want to risk it. You need that bonus point, but those extra points might come in handy in the points differential side of things as well. And the Ireland versus England game is on Virgin Media in Ireland and STV plus ITV1 in the UK. The Wales have to score next, or the French will run away with the score. I want to do that to you, Irish. You're such a top bloke. Top respects the Kiwi lads. There's Nate there. We should make a Ferguson Fedder and Ferguson or Fergus Mutta accounts. There's Gareth there. And Donate just suck on some Nodoze. And almost seems like Gatlin is trying to make a seniors team. Yeah, they've had some struggles, Wales, throughout their new coach era, but England have had the same thing. And that's the risk you take, changing a coach so close to a World Cup. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. We've seen two examples here how neither of them have actually worked, but could they be right by the World Cup? Maybe. Who knows? It's always hard to tell. Currently, second half, not too far away. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, for the English lineup, I did go through Ireland. For England, it is going to be Ellis Genge, Jamie George, and Kyle Sinclair as the front row. Mara Atoje and David Ribbons. The locks, Lewis Ludlam, Jack Willis, and Alex Dombrant as the number 8. Jack Van Porfleer gets the start at 9 with Owen Farrell at 10. Henry Arundel in the starting lineup. Manu Tuolangi, hope he doesn't get injured. Henry Slade at 13. Watson out on the other wing, and Freddie Stewart. I don't rate Rio Dyer or Gatlin 2.0. No, I want to name my account the Fergus and the longest, says Nate. Yeah, there's some good benches as well for both of these sides. Marcus Smith will be an interesting one when they decide to use him, though, because he did have a rough last game. Oh, I'm going to quickly. That should correct. There we go. We're all good. What game do you think will have a bigger points difference, this or the Island game? I think this game. To be honest, I think this game, I think I said it was going to be separated by 15 points, and I felt that the Ireland England game was going to be a little bit closer than that. But it's hard to tell. Currently 13 points difference. You'd expect Wales to come out firing, or at least you'd hope they would, but I don't know. It just seems to be that the handling is costing them a little bit too much. I was going for Icelandic tradition. And also, Genge, Sinclair, Toji are the biggest problems for England. They haven't performed for England for a long time. Says Power Bite. Yeah, Toji, this Six Nations has almost been invisible, unfortunately. Ellis Genge, I can understand why he's still getting picked in terms of that physicality that he brings in a breakdown, but he hasn't been lighting the world on fire. A lot of the scrums have been going 50-50, though, which has been making it a little bit tricky. And France need to win this game first and push for the tries. Wales are not out yet. They can push for tries in the last 20, says Mountains of Asylum. And also, France used 2 numbers 10s. Ramos is a 10 as well. So used less this year. We've currently actually got highlights of the Argentina versus New Zealand game. It took place for the Sevens, I believe. It was in the LA Sevens final. I think New Zealand in the end did take out that game. Speaking of Sevens, 2 weeks' time, we are going to have the Hong Kong Sevens that we are covering on the channel. I've got like 50 tabs open at the moment. But yeah, the first one that we are going to be covering is going to be the Hong Kong Sevens. And then the weekend after that, it is the Singapore Sevens, which we will also be covering on Le Channel. And then, yeah, May is the next legs of the Sevens, which is going to be Toulouse. Hong Kong is men and women's. Singapore is just men. And Genge carries too much and doesn't do his job. Remember, he's a prop, says Gareth. I think he gets a little bit too keen, doesn't he? Gets excited, goes, yeah, I'll try and create those magical moments in the field running. But like you said, got to do your job first. And love me some fresh Genge. And Genge and Sinclair are weak props, so says Power Bite. So who would you have instead? I know that Joe Marler, they seem to have gotten rid of him. Probably the most notable Lucy prop. Maybe not so much for form or anything along those lines, just more the most well-known. Marco Vunipola. He does decent off the bench, but I don't know how he goes starting. I'm thinking top 4 teams, the Rugby World Cup as it stands now is Mr. Fantastic. I mean, I'm still heavily in favour of someone out of France, Ireland, New Zealand, or South Africa are winning. Because I think that side of the draw will either make or break sides, and I think it's going to make one of them. I hope it does anyway. Apparently, Borthwick hates Billy V, says Gareth. And it's Mountains of Elysium, or Mountains of Asylum. See, I haven't read it really much, have I? Elysium. I like Asylum. I was like, what is Elysium? Says Gareth. We might have to Google that as well, Gareth. While we are at it. Now, second half, I'm sure it won't be too far away because they are showing highlights of the New Zealand Sevens. And the good news is there's only 20 seconds remaining in that one. Nice white ball. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you need a VPN to be able to watch these games for free, be sure to check out the pinned comment link to private internet access, be sure to use our link as well. You get an extra 3 months free. Pretty handy. An interesting point, regardless of the final scoreline, if Scotland, France, and Ireland all win this weekend, there's no change to the world ranking, says Kerr. Borthwick's style needs time, which he doesn't have, but not this World Cup. Next one is, if he's still there, England will be unbeatable, just my thoughts. Borthwick's styles, there's no European success even. Gareth. And other props, Will Stewart, Collier, Rupava, Ruskin and Marla, just for starters. You see, they've been stuck in their way for so long, haven't they, in terms of those props? Because Will Stewart and Marla, of that list, are probably the only ones who have had a relatively fair suck of the sav so far. That's a weird saying to say because I've just realized that's a Kiwi thing, and anyone else will think that that sounds weird. The only ones who have had a real decent crack. Collier's had a couple run-outs, I think. But, yeah, because they've gone with those same guys for so long, they've dug a little hole. Do you guys have fair suck of the sav as a saying, or is that just a Kiwi and Aussie thing? It also a combined team of all Six Nations would only contain French and Irish players. And also morning to you, Cuzzy bro. Likewise, bro. Likewise, says Spider Mech. An interesting point, regardless of the final scoreline, if Scotland, France, and Ireland. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And no Kiwis just suck naturally, says Gareth. Can't argue with that. I pick Marla based entirely on his weirdness, says Fluffy. Well, the good news with Marla is he's got a little bit of grit to him too. Like, he's a weird fella off the field. He's a weird fella on the field. But when it comes to it, he'll still try and get that little extra momentum for his side. It means heaven, which in France is champs the main street in Paris. There you go. I think he's been in the chat for multiple months and he's never corrected me. I probably should be in an asylum, so I'm not bothered. Do you want me to keep on calling you asylum, or do you want me to switch to the proper one? So I guess it's up to you. Pick Marla to tickle Winkies. Marla retired 2 times now, no? Says Gareth, and I'll pick Marla based entirely on his weirdness, and yes, says Fluffy. Yeah, he's popping in and out at the moment, Joe Marla. I think he's still playing for the Quins, though, so he might be all right for another World Cup in France. Second half of this game. Very close. I should mention the next live stream is at 6 a.m., ladies and gentlemen, or we are actually starting 5 minutes before the game. And I will have a guest for that one. My friend George going to be getting up nice and early New Zealand time. In fact, I believe he's getting up at about 5:30. And then he will be heading around for that live stream. And yeah, it's going to be an early morning one, 6 a.m. But after that, I'm probably going to cook myself some breakfast of some sort. Should be very exciting. I also watch Vegetable. Does George farm again? Yams. So he doesn't farm yams per se, but he does sometimes work for a fellow who does the yamming. Whereas on his farm, they have a few bulls and then also the silage business side of things. But yeah, he does work for a fellow who does some yamming or does yams. So I think he gets free yams. Also, we have got there, Solomon's fine with me, whatever you want. And Marla is a weird guy, don't like him. No one does. Billy V is a total moron. Him and his brother Marco refuse to talk to each other. So it's hard to have both in the same squad, says Bowbite. What's this jackass about, says Chris Newby. Hello, Chris. Hope you're doing well, bud. I mean, I'm just about talking fast and kicking ass. That's about all I do, mate. Silage says Gareth, yeah, so like grass and whatnot, mowing and kind of everything along those lines. Mowing, raking, baling. Which jackass? There's a few here, says Gareth. We group together, don't we? We have enough to start another jackass movie franchise, perhaps. Marley gets in the air, which gets annoying to the opposition. He's just the best at it. Heaps of mountains in Paris streets, garbage Alps. Time for a cuppa, ready to take 2, says Spider Mech. Now, still a little bit of cloud. And geez, be nice, guys. It's France versus Wales, says Roll Off. I feel like the way that I read that is how you'd be thinking it at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. Chris obviously isn't having a good day. is unfortunate, of course. That man, I thought he was tickling his friend's elbow, but he's just reaching a little bit in front of him. Who's on at 6 a.m., Amy? So it is going to be Ireland versus England. Ireland versus England. Going to be a good game. And the trash in Paris, an English team? Or is the trash in Paris, at Paris, an English team? The thing is, on paper, they've got a good side, but it just doesn't work sometimes. Borthwick basically brought a house. It was on fire with the police standing alone, pissing on it. Would return the house to mint condition, says Care. But the amount of people that I've heard that have been like, oh, we miss Eddie Jones after he literally got pretty much pushed out of the job by people hating on him is quite impressive. And also, we have there from Ian a flag. And also, Ian Henderson is not in the Irish lineup. And Genge thinks that he acts all victimised and angry. He can get what he wants. He has been far too indulged. His carry on with the ref last week was childish, immature guy. Says Power Bite. I'll take a hockey stick to the Ghoulies for stardom. Would you? I don't know if I would. I mean, I was playing cricket today and a fella for our team got hit in the box. And it wasn't even quick bowling, but you know the feeling if you get hit right and it's only a slow ball or something and it strikes the no-no spot where you don't want to be hit, you feel it for a bit. It's so funny, but so polite. Says Gareth there. We go. What happened to Chris? Did Chris leave us in the end? I feel bad. Where's Chris? Yeah, Chris disappeared. Chris just left. That's going to be now the second half underway, ladies and gentlemen, for this matchup between France and Wales. I know Ireland will win, but I want to see England to step up, fire, baby. I'd love to see England lose by less than 7 or get somewhere close. Although the problem is, if England get close, people still count it as a loss. So they almost have to win for people to kind of back them again. Which is tricky to do because they're playing up against one of the most informed sides in World Rugby today in Ireland. He kicked up high. I only want England to win, so Ireland lose, says Gareth. Thomas Ramos trying to step his way through, currently 40 metres out from the Welsh line here, the French. Nice ball off to Flamand, driven backwards. Now, Dupont goes to Intermac, doesn't decide to offload that time. Now Dupont taking it quickly to the left-hand side again. Toffa for Noah now, beautiful hands. Charles Olivon. Moving up to about 15 metres out now. Genge Warner and Sonny Bill Williams should go into the airport bathroom business together, says Fluffy. Airport bathroom business together. Straight away, I feel bad, but I thought of Aaron Smith. Now, into Mac. Gonna be lurking here. Now, nice run from Julio Marchand. So about a 40-second delay between the TV and the live stream. I'll try and keep the spoilers to a minimum. And there, yeah. So for some reason, through Sky Sport now, you lose about 30 seconds from live. And then on top of that, I think you lose another 10 seconds or so with the live stream delay. But that is going to be going down too long there. So he has given away the penalty. And it is actually going to be a French penalty here. Do you take pills regularly? Need to remind my son every morning, says Roloff. I do not. I just drink water, eat Weet-Bix, and talk a lot. And here Jones is responsible for Sinclair, Genge, and Itoje playing badly, but being undroppable. Also let the Vunipola brothers act like Muppets and never stepped in. He kicked other players out for 0. Power bite. Also, we've got there, France will pull away in this half. They have a good chance now, though, because they are going to have a scrum about 15 metres out from the line. They have called for that scrum rather than the 3. ITVX, my commentary is like 5 seconds ahead of the game, 50-odd seconds behind Hamish. Oh, interesting. See, I thought you were going to say 50 seconds ahead of me or 5 seconds ahead of me. Now Dupont rolls the ball and it's bouncing out the back, and it looks like Aldrit might consider going off the back. No, instead Dupont does decide he needs to use it. He actually ends up tripping on his own player's leg. But now Dupont, 5 metres out from the line, make it 3 now. He's asking for a penalty there. And now drop into the knees. Sirubai just short of the line. Dupont just looking for that next passing option. Goes to Ramos. Out to Huey Antonio, the big prop. This is going to be scoring the try for France. That is their third of the match now. And try for the French, there's Richard. And on the TV, on ITV, I'll be ahead of you slightly. There's Mr. Fantastic AJ. Also, half fact about England, as they won a World Cup and too many people live in the glory days of it, and they belong in the number one slot. Only so much any coach can do without class players, says Kerr. It was a good wide ball, Yui Antonio. You don't expect to see him out on the wing. And my son is brilliant, get 90 plus in everything. All he wants to do is be a YouTuber. You talk less than him. Says Roloff. 90 plus in everything. Is that like grades and whatnot? Is it, Roloff? What type of YouTube does he want to do? Does he want to do sports or is he more of a gaming fellow? I know that there was a big wave of gamers breaking onto the scene a couple years ago. Oh, Ramos, 4 from 4 tonight. So his kicking has been perfect. Now they are one try short of that bonus point here for France. I just realized I wouldn't have jinxed Ramos. He's a good enough kicker. He'll get it. I'd like to think anyway. And Antonio Sean up and O. And that kick just sneaks in. And it's going to be now 27 points to 7. So that 20 points difference is starting to get a little bit more interesting because France at the moment, they have the same points differential as Ireland. But the difference is they're both sitting on 19. In fact, they're identical at this point. But if France score again, they get the bonus point, which is the difference. Send him to the army. YouTubing no good. To be fair, like the amount of hours that I do a week on YouTube, if I was working any other job, I probably would have been promoted multiple times. I would probably have a bit of something to my name. But those are only, what are they? Superficial things. Not too worried about those. Nice run from Gregory Aldrit. Also, the dam is breached. France are going to get 50 points here. Nigel Owens was wrong in gaming. I do not do sport. The only reference he has with rugby, says Roloff. Do you play on Xbox or PS 4 or 5? Roloff. It's going to be kicked in behind now from Intermac. Great kick downfield. Thomas taking that one nicely inside of the Welsh 22. I don't know where the name Thomas came from. That was damn bigger. I don't blame Eddie for England. I think he had a plan and didn't have the chance to finish it. Real shame because now it's what if. Never know now, says Kev. And anything over 27 gets me a bonus point. And Steam and Xbox, says Roloff. Very similar to myself. And anything over 27 is far game for Sonny Bill. Says Fluffy. And France's current points difference of 46 to Ireland 66. So they would have beat Wales by more than 20 points with a bonus point. Ireland would need at least a draw or 2 bonus points against England. Yeah, they couldn't afford to lose the game by 7 or less, that is for sure. Because then they'd get the point, but they wouldn't quite get there, wouldn't they? And this game looks like it is over for Wales, says Boulders and Steel. They certainly haven't had the fair, well, I said earlier on, the fair suck of the sav, have they? Unfortunately, they haven't quite been able to get it right. Now Dante finds another offload. Here comes Ramos, almost through the gap. A great tackle. I believe it was Nick Tompkins who got onto him. The penalty goes the way of France. Yeah, Wales have like 10 minutes in them. Then meh, says Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, they scored the first try of the match. We need to remember. Over 27, thought Sonny Bill didn't do pork anymore. There's Gareth. That's one thing I haven't got for the barbecue tomorrow. I'm going to have a barbecue tomorrow. Probably just, I don't even know if I'll cook it on the barbecue. I might just cook things that would go on a barbecue on like a pan. But I got burger buns. I bought burger buns the other day. Should probably use them. I feel weird for talking about like stuff that sounds like I'm an adult because I just don't feel like an adult. It's like how George is turning 24 in like a week and a half. 24. That's a long age. Oh, so we have there. I hope we can start or we can sort something out for the World Cup, but doubts. Mr. Fantastic AJ's or yeah, Mr. Fantastic AJ, sorry. Without the S. And I was like, Hamish, brother, how are you, mate? I'm doing very well, mate. Also doing well. How many acres is your farm? We have 500. It's got a few paddocks. I couldn't tell you how big the family. Oh, it's a great ball. Go try. That's now the bonus point. Right. This puts the pressure on just that little bit more. This is going to be enjoyable to see what the Irish are able to do. I'm mid 40s, and even my wife won't admit I'm an adult. So there's a Mountains of Asylum. Also, we have got their Moreton Bay Bugs, best on the barbecue. And France got the bonus points, says Richard. They certainly did. I should also mention I have continuously looked at the borrowers in the shop each time I go past, but I'm worried I'm going to mess up the cooking of them. So that's why I haven't bought one yet. One day we'll try and cook one. Probably will be for a video, to be fair. We'll see whether or not we can cook one well. It's a great try from Galfiku. France now move up to 32 points. Should be 34 with this kicker, Thomas Ramos. You not cook on a braai barbecue. You braai, you cook eggs, not meat, says Roloff. And you need an inflatable hot tub, says Gareth, and millions of dead fish down south you could barbecue, says Fluffy. We saw a dead fish at the place where we were fishing the other day. Just a little one. And a dead eel as well. So I don't know what's in the water, but it's not good. Kick's gone over. I make the score 34 points to 7. Well, Dan Bigger almost ended up headbutting Jonathan Dundee. That would have hurt. Big time surf and turf, brother. Here's Kev. There's another try in favour of the French. They've got the bonus point now, and they've got a points differential of they're sitting at 27 at the moment. Black Cats put on an awesome score. And well done to Williamson and Nichols. Yeah, both getting double centuries. Very impressive from the two. Now Dupont trying to find a gap, doesn't quite find it, so instead goes back into the pocket to Ramos. Kicks it down the field. Julio Machon now taken off the field. That is for Pietro Malwaka. Lewis Rees-Zammit, one of his first kicks of the day. Down the middle of the field. And what is Wales versus France's biggest score? Not too sure, unfortunately. Sorry. That one I do not like. This France is good. Bugs are da bomb. See, Fluffy, and just realized yesterday I've worked on ships longer than the youngest crew member on board. A surefire way to feel old AF. I enjoyed my first ship before she took her first. Hey, what? You've been working a while then? How old is she? Is she younger than myself? I'm 23. That's stolen by Pietro Malwaka. Now, Dupont goes off. Talfa Fanua and chicken and a can of beer. Up. It's A, says Kev. Now the point goes across to Guerrero Rid again. Tackled by Adam Beard, although he did try and hold him up for a little bit of time. Now short ball from Dupont again. The ball has come loose. And Wales have now got themselves the knock-on advantage. Bring it out the back. It's almost becoming a rolling maul there. Now, back into the pocket. Dan Bigger goes across this time. Now it's going to be Rio Dyer. Tries to have a bit of a step. He's dragged down pretty much instantly. Hey, guys, smash that like button if you subscribe to the channel. Says it was Birdie. You heard the man. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more Six Nations coming, including one more live stream tonight. And that's going to be the matchup between Ireland and England. And France have managed to make it interesting now because it does now mean that Ireland cannot lose that game up against the English. They can't even, like, if they lose by 1 point, they lose the Six Nations. It'd be good. They are just showing there the live table, the way that it does sit. Ireland, they are sitting on 19. France are sitting on 20. Still got 28 minutes remaining to try and get that points differential up, although the points differential really, I'd say it's extremely limited in terms of what it means, other than I guess the only thing is if Wales score a couple tries, that might change it a little bit. Do you do commentary on the NRL? We try to, I've only done a couple games so far, which were actually the warm-up games for the Warriors. But now that my cricket season's over, I think I'm going to have a little bit more time to be able to do some more NRL. So we're hoping to do that for a few of the live streams. It looks like the French will take this one out. Spider Sense got to go. See you at 6 Emmy, says Spider Mix. We will see you a bit later on. And also we have got there, I'm 35, she's 18, says Kerr there. I still can't believe how long ago Rugby 06 came out. Like, that's coming up on 20 years in a few years' time, which is crazy. What is NRL? National Rugby League. So a little bit similar to Rugby Union, but just a bit different in the Australian competition. Going to be kicked in behind. Ball sits up for Wales. Once again, just a mistake. Decision-making for them has been pretty poor so far throughout this game for Wales. It's going to be a forward pass. The crowd will be celebrating for that one. That's Five Nations. What Wales' worst defeat? France in the Six Nations. Mr. Fantastic AJ. Gareth, that was 1998. Brian there. And Warriors and Dolphins game is a must-watch. Are they playing next week, Nate? Or are they... When are they playing? I have to give it a look because the Dolphins have started the season extremely well. Beside that weren't playing last year. It's kicked him behind, and then it was just the decision-making of George North. His hands are about as slippery as can be today. Looks of it, but he did manage to score that try earlier on. And rugby games are so bad. Some are cool, others are utter garbage. Mr. Fantastic AJ. Well, the good news is that next one between England and Ireland, we're going to have George on it. He will be probably in a hyper mood. So there are times in that next match where we may not even be fully rugby the whole time. Like during a halftime break, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but it should be entertaining. You never know what you're going to get with George. If you get a try bonus point, and also losing bonus point, Ireland will win the title. True, actually. Yeah, that is the one way that they can do it. So either way, they've got to score a lot of points, don't they? And to be sure, says Gareth, it's going to be fired across. A lot of pressure there for France. Thomas Ramos runs it out from his in-goal area, and that is the confidence that this French side are playing with at the moment, but it's a good turnover from Wales. Now Adam Beard manages to clean it up here. Going off to the right-hand side, flat ball. Aaron Wainwright, and no problem, Gareth. And also we have got there, what a game, Blues versus Crusaders. Was hoping Blues would get the win. Here's Birdie V, now nice offload from Wales, going out wide. Josh Adams, 5 meters out from the line, dragged down nicely. Thomas Williams Shaw, they're over. And it is going to be the number 16. I believe that's Bradley Roberts. Yes, it is. Who has been able to score that try. Very nicely done by the replacement number 16. I mentioned earlier on the Durban-born Welsh qualifying Bradley Roberts gets himself his first try. And that is going to cut down on the points differential just that little bit. I think the Welsh commentator was just saying that making mistakes like that for France won't win them a World Cup. I mean, still scored 34 points against your side, though, didn't they? Which makes it a bit trickier. Dan Bigger now going to be lining up this kick. Won't take too much time. The bad news is the Blitzbox are losing the sevens. The moment we think we're on top, we go to the bottom. But that's just sevens, unfortunately. That's one of those ones that it's forever changing. You have one good leg, and then the next leg you can finish 13th. I think that's actually something that the Blitzbox did. New Zealand, they managed to finish in the top 2. Then they finished outside and played for 9th place. Kick has gone over from Dan Bigger and leaves room for a France try. Says Gareth. And what do you think new Eddie Jones Oz team will be like? I think it's going to, I hope it finds success because Australia have got some very talented players. It's just they haven't known how to use them for a little while under Dave Rennie. But I don't know whether there's going to be enough time for Eddie Jones to be able to turn around the Aussies for this World Cup. He's been given pretty much the shortest deadline to be able to create some magic, but who knows? And 3rd of June is the New Zealand Warriors versus Dolphins, so we'll have to try and catch that one, won't we? Nicely taken by Talupe Falatau. Currently 20 points difference between these two sides. So in terms of points differential for the overall, It makes it interesting. And how many tries each? 4 for France. So they have currently got that bonus point. 2 for Wales. Now, it's like Thomas Williams going to be rolling this ball back. I mentioned it for Wales. If they somehow come back and win this game, they can actually finish higher than England on their table, but they would have to get a lot of more points. Let's take it by Rio Dyer there. Now, Nick Tompkins goes across. Lewis Rees-Zammit. We've hardly seen him so far throughout this game, but he's had a nice run there. Jonathan Dante able to drag him down, put him close to the touchline. Also, that's what makes Rugby Union 7 so exciting, is that teams go through successes and failures at times in the season. Exactly right. You've changed your picture boulders and steel as well, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And Sevens is hard. I played back in the day, and he just got me lungs back. Yeah, they always say that Sevens is brilliant for building up cardio for Union. And yeah, it certainly gives you that attacking style. We look at someone like a Corey Toole for the Brumbies. He's shown that he's got plenty of pace. And then he doesn't have enough time, but he can use the World Cup games to build momentum into the quarters. And then anything can happen from there. Exactly right. As long as they win a couple of their games, whether that is beating Fiji, whether it's beating Wales or Georgia, a little bit of a mistake there from France, only a metre out from their line. They've been driven back, and now it's going to be a scrum feed for the Welsh. Josh Adams gave him a rub on the head, rubbing his nose in the grass, and then realised that it was just a child, so he decided to pick him up and give him a tap on the back of the head instead. Watching the NRL at times, see why Eddie Jones wants some of them to play for the Wallabies. They do have some excellent skills. Also, come on, the Porps. It's fluffy, and imagine if Wales get the next try, then it makes things interesting, doesn't it? Oh, they've made another change. Shadow onto the field now. 6'7". He's a bit of a tall lad. Now, the scrum feed for Wales. They're only 5 metres out at the moment. This is cutting into the points differential here. And France must keep a 20-plus points differential with any hope of winning the championship, unless, of course, England can beat Ireland by 8 points. That's the only way that they get around it. But then also Ireland wouldn't be able to get those 4 tries in the match as well. So it's just adding too many extra legs. Thomas Williams asking for the knock on. He is going to receive it. Looks like France taking their foot off the accelerator, says Rapati. Oz loses some big locks like Mirfo. They convinced one big lock to come back to Oz from France, the Clement guy. Clement, not an Arnold brother, and it wouldn't be Wolf Skelton either, was it? Who was the other fella? Now I'm thinking through, and I'm thinking of someone like a Simmons, but he's playing in London Irish. Who else have they got? I'm enjoying the game. Sat in the car under a shower burst. I can just about hear you, Hammy. There's Eric, so hopefully it doesn't get too heavy. Eric, hope you've been having a good weekend so far, though. And something like that. He's like 21, says Gareth. And also gutted Eddie got sacked. The man had a plan, says Kev. See, that's the thing. A lot of people were like, we don't want Eddie Jones to coach. And then as soon as they went to Borthwick and the losses started adding up, people were like, hang on. Maybe Eddie Jones might have had something that he was working on. But who knows? Imagine if he goes on and wins a World Cup for Australia and join the Waratahs, says Gareth. And we need to get the foot out of the game. I need to Google 7'6". What the F? Or 6'7", the other way around. 6'7". That's a penalty to France. I'm actually going to Google it, but I believe it would work out to be about 2 meters and 3 centimeters or something like that. How tall? In fact, we're going to switch that one. Why is how tall is Gina Ortega the one that everyone's searching for? That's the most popular Google one, apparently. We'll go foot to CMs. Here we go. So he is 6'7", 204 centimeters. Tell you what, that was an extremely good guess because I just guessed. Like, I had no clue. Territory, mate. Here's Danston. Currently, Wales, They blew their opportunity on attack, and now France have kicked it down towards the halfway line. Eddie Jones, master player, or the master played, got sacked by England with the golden payout and free takeover Oz. Yeah, plenty of time to make something, says Kerr there. You wonder whether or not he put all his eggs in the basket of the World Cup. That's tall, says Roloff. Yeah, it's a duck for doorways kind of height, I always say. That one's not straight, unfortunately, for France. I believe now it is going to be the Welsh. They've got themselves a scrum again. Too many penalties in the French 22, says Brian. And he had a penalty. Oh, he had plenty of time to make something. And an Eddie with nothing to lose is a scary Eddie, says Fluffy. And his plan was fake it till you make it, says Kerr. Although, I mean, we've seen what he did with Japan, though. And that certainly wasn't the case of fake it till you make it. That was make it from coaching. But I don't know. I feel like Eddie, he's always been a man who enjoys World Cups, as we've learnt from watching him with Japan, as we saw in the 2019 World Cup with England. He loves a World Cup, and I think that was what he was planning for in the future. And I wonder how Australia are going to go. Some would say they've got the easier side of the draw. They might go far. Wales got the advantage at scrum time. Also, Eddie Japan wins over South Africa. Says Nate there. And tall people tend to snap easy. Says Fluffy, right. It is going back for that original penalty advantage. Looks like Dan Bigger trying to hustle through there. Okay. It's going to be a kick for the touchline now from Dan Bigger. About 15 metres out or so, but a good opportunity on 198. Doesn't South Africa's 2, as long as I'm barefoot. True, you don't want to accidentally be wearing your sneakers, or else you get a donk on the forehead, won't you? And France for the World Cup, hot take, says Be First. I mean, if they're ever going to win one, it's when they've got their home ground as the advantage. And I think they actually come in as favourites for that World Cup. Even though Ireland, I think, is starting to overtake them, so France might come in as second favourites. They say England is the biggest rugby depth. Surely it's France with even second division. Yeah, it's nationally broadcast, says Garthy. Yeah, I think France have shown their depth off in the last kind of 24 months or so, with how they're able to bring in random players some people haven't heard of, and they just turn into pretty much superstars for them. Now, Wainwright, 2 metres out from the line now. Around the side, it's going to be the try for Thomas Williams, and that'll cut down on the difference again. Is it going to be a comeback? I'm just thinking if Wales scored 2 more, she's all on for young and old. Try for Wales, says Richard. You need to win back the Bearside Cup, makes test matches alive. I like the old days. True. And also, I think Ireland's going to fall off before the World Cup, normally does, although they're running low on games. Like, they've only got a couple more left. Normally, by this stage, it's normally that Six Nations beforehand that they start having a bit of trouble, but they've clean swept it so far. Tall guys in the AFL snap something all the time. Smaller guys just get permanently concussed. And on your Wales, another try. Another try. 14 minutes remain now. If this kick is successful, they'll be 13 points behind. 2 converted tries. Although Bigger, I think he's shanked it, has he? No, he's got it. It's gone over. That was the strangest camera angle. I said Wales had 10 minutes. I think we got 30 in us. Almost up to the half, maybe. Next World Cup, we'll be back to winning form. Wales can try in quick succession, says Brian. And I think the Box and the All Blacks must team up. There's North getting cocky, says Roloff. Well, we have to play each other in the warm-up game for the World Cup. So I think both sides will just end up smacking each other around quite a bit. Now, Wales taking it nicely. It's going to be, I believe that was Jenkins with the ball in hand there. Being told to use it. France need another converted try. They do. But if Wales get another converted try, she's back on. Those 6 points might be the difference. Those early penalties that they were taken, nicely taken by Ramos, but he's put into touch, and the penalty actually goes the way of Wales. Got the New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia will be a much improved team in the next 3 months. Oh, yeah, Fiji, the dark horse and pump for Ireland. There's Seamus there. Oh, the kick hasn't found touch. That is a big mistake, though, from Wales there. They had the momentum. They just gave it away. They've said it's taken back by Rumen Intermac, but they want to take this one quickly instead, Wales. Keeping it alive now, Lewis Rees-Zammit kicks it in behind, looking to chip it. It's an awkward bouncing one, but Damien Pinot takes it very nicely. And now the space opens up for France, remembering that Rees-Zammit is out of the line due to him being the fullback, now out wide. It's going to go to Dumetier. What is he doing way off the ball, Damien Pinot? He said he's taken off the ball, but the question is, why was he way in front anyway? It's like running straight into a brick wall and then complaining because the brick wall was where the brick wall was originally. Now George North goes off to the side. Josh Adams kicks it in behind. Damien Pinot is still down and complaining. We'll have to see the replay of that one to see whether or not he's justified. And Mac kicks it back downfield. Dan Bigger takes it nicely. And he kicks that one into touch. Do France take it quickly? They do not. And come on, France, turn that screw tighter. Wales truly clueless. So he's still asking for the penalty. What happened here for Damien Pinot that made him so annoyed? So he ran through. He got bumped. He was sitting in the Welsh back line. Gareth Thomas, he might get penalised for this, but he was just sitting in the wrong spot. Crowd are booing. Looks like we're going to continue on. And France well ahead, 13 points. Not as far ahead as they were. They need another try. He got elbowed, no competing, says Gareth there. No one mentioned Argentina in ages. And bumped, says Fluffy. Oh, going to be a free kick now for Wales. Or sorry, for France, but for a different occasion. But yeah, he continued running through, stood in the Welsh back line, and then the prop ran into the back of him. Should he have run into the back of him? No. Should Pinot have been in their defensive back line? No. So it's a bit of a weird one. Bigger itching with a B again. And Ireland are built around Leinster, and it cuts me deep as a Munster fan to say. They are probably the best club side in the world at the moment. They will help keep Ireland's momentum going. And the chemistry helps massively as well. Like the fact that there's so many players from that same side, it's certainly handy. Great take from Dan Bigger there. Had a good second half, 10 minutes left on the clock now. Dupont, there's no part of him that was on his feet, but he has gone down. Kicked straight into touch on the full from the Welsh. Another mistake near the end. And my predictions are right. France have one top game in them. Says Kev Shaw. Looks like Dan Bigger's going to be staying down. Think he took some heavy contact. Looks like his knees aren't quite working the way that he wants them to. France, they do still have this bonus point. They're ahead by 13. So currently, the way that they would sit on the table, they will be on 20 points with a points differential of plus 59, which does mean that if Ireland receive 1 point in their game up against England, they will be the victors of the Six Nations. Unless that point is for being 4 tries or 4 tries, but they're outside of 7. It's a weird one. We'll still be progressing throughout it. But either way, France want to end this game being at a better points differential than the Irish, just to make it a bit easier for themselves. Now, Pot looks like he is going to be rolling this one back and looking to put up the box kick, perhaps, this stage of the match. Playing the territory game. It's gone high. Going to go deep into the 22. Nicely taken by Josh Adams. Dumetier, he was saying that he was taken out. Josh Adams was swearing at him, going, "You weren't taken out. I was taken out." So I don't think anyone accomplished anything in Mountains of Asylum. We have 14 teams in South Africa, and each province, or every province, want to make their team box. That was a laughing face from Roscoe there. It's going to be kicked high from Ramos. Waiting for this one to come down. Oh, what a take that is from Rumen Intermac. And now, 25 metres out, here come the French again. On home soil with a crowd behind them. Ramos has kicked it in behind. Was it the right choice? Not really. Oh, but it might have been because Sema had to force that one dead. So I believe it's going to become, Josh Adams having a bit of a push and a shove. He's an angry Welshman. And I would be too if I was sitting second bottom on the Six Nations table. Bit of argy-bargy. Tempers flaring. Let's go, boring Wales, says Max Power. Also compare Leinster budget to other Irish teams. And you know why. Says Gareth. And good points. I tend to favour Crusaders for the best club squad. But how Leinster cope with injuries recently astounded me. Now it's going to be kicked downfield. Nicely taken by Thomas Ramos. 40 metres out from the line. Gregory Aldrich driving at the line here. Dupont once again going across now. It's going to be Gordy. Dupont back across. Still 40 out for the Welsh. Charles Oliver. Now going off to the right-hand side. Roman into Mac. To Ramos. Damien Pinot, the little chip and chase, has gone into the 22. Dan Bigger unable to take the mark. So instead has to take the heavy contact again. And I mentioned he was going to have to take a lot of big shots. Took it into touch. Says Gareth and save the Wales. Says Mark. And could you do a Rugby Club World Cup like League? Says Gareth. In real life, it would be tricky with everyone's schedules, unfortunately. It's kind of the Champions Cup is as close as we're going to get for that for quite some time, I believe. But I think they want to do a Club World Cup maybe in 2025, I think I heard someone say a while ago, but those were just rumours. Act high now. Nicely taken by Ramos, but he has put that ball down. Kick back onto the side of the French. Another loose ball. Knock-on advantage against the Welsh here. Hito Malvaka plays Aldrin on the halfway line. Now Dupont once again goes to Intermac. Shalaho. Now Intermac again. They've got numbers here on the left-hand side if they want it. Why are we kicking it again, France? Oh, it might work. Nah, it's going into touch. Or is it? Yeah, just run into touch by Thomas Williams. Nice kick. It's the Champions Cup winner versus Super Rugby champion, says Gareth. I don't know if they'd go for it. It would be great to watch, but I feel like that'd be like maybe in the Northern Hemisphere that it's like, why does Super Rugby get the free pass? Why isn't it the winner of the URC taking on the winner of the Champions Cup or something like that? They might get offended. Looks like Sihu Makalu now making his way out onto the field here. And Dumia TA taken off for Mofana. And come on, boring Wales. Do it for Sean Connery, Tom Jones, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Problem with the European Champions Cup. Some teams don't take it seriously. And I think that is due to the amount of games that they have to play in a regular season. Like everyone's getting exhausted from those matches like time after time. I know that the South African sides mentioned about it, how they weren't expecting the schedule to be so like hard on them, playing URC, Champions Cup, and then also now they've got the Curry Cup coming in as well. France will win, not smashing Wales, the World Cup around the corner. They need to pick that big game to win because 2 massive games in a row, not a chance. We will see territory, mate, says Danston. You do know, Danston, the more you mention it, the more I probably won't mention it. But they are still 5 meters out, just like they were a minute ago, like I did say. But it's going to be a penalty advantage now for France. And they do end up getting the penalty, right? They might consider kicking for the corner here again. He should be Welsh then, says Max Power. I just feel sorry for the whale. Says Fluffy. And also we have got there, they get paid, Hamish. It is their job, says Roloff. True. But I have heard quite a few people complaining about it, which is not ideal. I think it's just because there's so many injuries coming. So straight away, like the reaction from the coaches is normally, oh, but we've had to play not too long ago, so we're still a bit rusty, or we've had to make changes. Now, big run from Dante again, Curry Cup in the second round of the Pumas are looking dangerous. Is Birdie V close? Oh, he tried to reach and stretch and he didn't quite get there. It was a long arm, but not long enough. Now a few meters out, French by 20 or 34. I said spot on. Says Dunstan, although you did say that you did change from 20 to 34. You did tell me, you were like, forget 20. They're going to win by 34 now. They're a wee way off. Penalty advantage still in play for the French. 3.5 minutes remaining here. Pumas looking good again this year. They're looking strong. It's very good to see. Now they're going to be going to the right-hand side. Wardy around the side. Oh, what's happened there? One of the Welsh players has gone for a bit of a tumble off the side too. Release now. Here's Nick Berry. They're still playing advantage. Oh, I cannot pass. Ramos to Damien Pinot. And he won't be complaining about that one. The winger has scored another try yesterday. Pumas beat the Lions 34 points to 27. You know, in Argentina, there's a big Welsh presence. A bunch of us hoofed off there. Here's Mr. Fantastic AJ and was 63 to 15. That is going to be the try. Damien Pinot gets his second. Now, this is interesting. The points differential currently 18. So, they need more points. Just to be honest, they need another try just to make it they're a little bit more curious. Grab the ball. Our ref scores a try. Says Nate, and there is a Welsh community in the Patagonia, sorry. I visited back in 1996. Right. Here we go. 39 to 21. So we've seen 60 points. This game, Nick Berry wants to play rugby. Fun fact, used to play for the Reds. Yet somehow he ended up refereeing Reds games. And when he was biased, everyone was like, wow, why'd that happen? And why are there not any naked people running on the pitches anymore? I think it's mainly because they just get banned. So it's normally the ones who are extremely drunk. But then the thing is, they started realizing that they weren't going to be able to go to any other games. But also, mainly because I guess it's not really worth it because they just don't show you anyway. Although I don't know. I feel like if I was to do a nude run, which I would never do, I feel like unless you've got like a good message or something on your shirt, like what's the point? Like everyone will go, way, and then you run, you get tackled, you get sent out, you get fined, and then you don't get to go to any more rugby games. And no one catches it on camera other than people in the crowd. Then everywhere they have to censor if you've got no pants on. So it's a tricky scenario. Drew Nick Berry, we're going to kept him on the bench for the Reds and they could run with good message on shirts. Says Gareth, well, if you're going to do it, you got to at least have a good message rather than just running for the sake of running, but still don't do it. England need to win, keep Ireland to 3 tries max, and well, the Welsh done a lot better than England, says Brian. That is very true. Currently 30 seconds remain at the moment between these two sides, sitting 41 points to 21. Just content stage, the Pumas are the worst part of South Africa, but they win schoolboys. There's the roll-off. Because I know they did all right in the last year's Curry Cup, didn't they? Was it? Oh, it's going to be the try for Wales just to screw it up at the end for the French. And that's going to be a bonus point win. Or sorry, a bonus point loss, I should say, for Wales. They will walk away from this game with 1. Hamish, are you really nude if you're wearing socks? Great question. And it's a tricky one to answer because depends. How many holes do your socks have in them? And what is classed as a sock? Does the sock have to be on your foot? Sorry, I'm getting too in deep with that. That's going to be 80 minutes through broken dreams, says Mr. Fantastic. Well, now it just means that England have to win their game by 7 or more and stop the Irish from scoring 3 or more tries. Oh, sorry, scoring more than 3 tries. There's another try. Oops, not enough time on the clock. Says Nate there. Wales who? Says Beavers to the Welsh, who actually have scored the most tries up against any opposition in a Six Nations fixture, up against the French. Does that mean that the French's defence was very poor? Ooh, don't know. It could be a body sock, says Fluffy. And also we have got their final score. That kick is successful. So the score in the end will be 41 points to 28 in favour of the French. So they walk away. They're now sitting on 20 points with a points differential, not looking too shabby at all, going Ireland by 10 later. There's Birdie V. Also, we have got their Wales who, second highest Grand Slam wins. Mr. Fantastic AJ. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got another live stream just around the corner. And that is going to be the exciting game between Ireland and England. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you need a VPN to be able to watch this last matchup, be sure to check out that pinned comment. We'll get 3 months extra free using our code and whatnot. Next live stream, it is myself, it is George, starting in about 25 minutes or so. Be sure to stick around for that. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all for the next one.